Hey friends, welcome to a new feature that we call Tuesday Coffee Break. I'm your host, Michael Coffey. I'm an executive coach, and I'm also the founder and CEO of Cultivate Group. At Cultivate Group, my team and I are focused on cultivating leaders, growing capabilities and character so that the leaders we work with can develop and produce exceptional results. Over 30 years ago, I came across a five-prong leadership principle, and I've carried this with me and used it both to develop and grow myself as a leader, and I've shared it with many clients over the years. The big idea of the principle is around setting an example as a leader, and the five prongs are to set an example with our words, with our behavior, with our care, with our trust, and with our integrity. So today I'm going to focus on the first of the five prongs, which is setting an example with our words. And really, this is going to be about the power and the impact of our words. So consider the power of your words and their impact upon people. And the question I would ask you to consider is, are the words you're speaking making a positive impact or a negative impact on those around you? Shortly after I began on this journey, and I wanted to set the intention to make a positive impact with my words, a leader that I deeply respect and admire, who knew this was what I was doing, came to me and started talking to me about my tone. I was working on using my words to make positive impact, but my tone was often coming across as annoyed or arrogant and even critical. And this was really difficult because I couldn't hear how I was coming across. The inability I had to hear myself kind of left me in a bind. And so I began to ask myself, how can I learn to hear myself when this is such a difficult thing for me to do? Yet I desperately wanted to set this example as a leader of leaders, and I wanted this tone issue to be gone because I knew it would have a really negative impact on my intention and on others. So I knew I needed to learn and unlearn this. And so what I decided to do was to turn to that leader who I admired and respected and trusted, and I asked them to hold me accountable. I essentially gave them permission to hold me accountable. And this was really difficult because at times it felt like, it could feel like nitpicking, because I might say something and have all the right intention, and as the leader would hear me speak it out to whatever group we were in, because they were in many of these meetings with me, they realized they were reminding me of where I needed to watch my tone so that my tone matched the intent of my words. So nearly 30 years later, I can now hear myself and hear my tone when I'm speaking. Now, of course, it got better before 30 years, but I've been working on it now for about 30 years because the great thing about being human is I still have slip-ups from time to time. However, I can look back over those 30 years and find many examples of when the impact of my words were connected and aligned with the right tone, and it was able to encourage and inspire others to do great things as leaders. Now, developing this competency is essential, especially when we as leaders are having to have maybe a more difficult conversation or a conversation with someone who we might be experiencing conflict with. That could be a team member, it could be a peer, it could be your boss. So how can you learn to speak with positive intent and proper tone in these high-stakes situations? And if you can, consider the possibilities. So there's a few questions I want you to consider as we're talking about setting an example with our words, the power and the impact of our words. The first question I would like you to consider is this: what would you love to achieve through the power and the impact of your words? The second question: how will you speak with positive intent and tone to those you lead and influence? And question three: to whom will you give permission to hold you accountable if you're having trouble hearing your own tone, as I did? As we build this online community, we would love to support you in your process. So please leave a comment or share your intention so we can encourage you in your growth as a leader. Now, we also realize that posting a comment on a social media site might not be safe. So you could also just direct message us your comment or what you're working on, and we would love to support you in that and encourage you. Next Tuesday, we're going to continue the Setting the Example series, and the topic will be setting an example with your life, the power and impact of your behavior. I'm Michael Coffey, we're Cultivate Group, and you're fantastic. So be well, lead well, and do well, and we'll see you next Tuesday for Coffee Break.